Hey guys, welcome back to the Hot Tea channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. In today's video, we are doing a deep dive back into what Amberlynn Reid has been up to and an update on all of that tea. But before we get into the video, I wanted to introduce you guys to my new favorite game, which also happens to be the sponsor of today's video, and it's called Switchcraft. Switchcraft is a match 3 game, but it's unlike any other match 3 game that I've ever played before because it has this like amazing TV-worthy writing storyline. It follows you, Bailey, and you are a freshman at a witch school. It kind of reminds me of Winx Club. Does anyone remember that? But I don't know. You're following the mystery of your bestie disappearing, and depending on like the actions that you choose, you can solve the mystery or not. There's like 400 different scenarios that can happen, so that's really interesting to me. You solve the mystery by doing these little match 3 games. In and of itself, even without the storyline, they're so unique and so different from all the other games that exist out there. Like there's different strategies to use. It's pretty cool. It's awesome. I highly recommend you guys download my link. It's going to be down below in the description and in the first comment. Play it. It's free to play, so why not give it a shot? I've been playing it like all week. It's crazy. So yeah. To the video. We post hot tea videos every single day with the current happenings and headlines, but you can also request deep dives where we take a better look into the backgrounds and history of some of your favorite influencers and YouTubers. You can also check out the full hot tea history playlist after this, and I'll link it down below for you guys. But there's a lot to get into today, so get comfy and let's spill some hot tea history. As you likely know, Amberlynn actually started her YouTube channel as a weight loss channel, but eventually switched her content over to a vlog style situation. She is well known to have lied in the past and has made videos confessing all of these lies. We have covered Amberlynn on this channel a couple of times before, so you can do a full catch up on those videos afterwards, but in this video, I want to just give a little more in ways of Amberlynn's background as well as some more recent updates. Born in Florida, Amberlynn moved to California when she was young. Her parents had substance abuse problems, and she was raised in multiple foster homes from the age of 10 to 12 years old when her parents got custody of her back. Apparently, one terrible foster experience she suffered was being thrown down the stairs at age 10 by one of her foster parents. Not too much is known about Amberlynn's siblings, but she has 3 of them. By age 11, she was 290 pounds, and she got into drinking and drugs in high school. During her high school years, she spent time living with her grandmother and ended up being put into a mental hospital as she was suicidal. While she was the first person in her family to graduate high school, she basically had to catch up her entire high school education in her last year as she had no school credits and was expelled at one point and then put into a continuation school. Amberlynn attempted to get a degree in criminal justice at Brown Mackie College in Tucson, Arizona, but she did not finish. Considering the harsh conditions of Amberlynn's upbringing, it isn't surprising that her life and behavior turned out the way it did. But to be clear, our childhoods should not define us, and just because we come from bad situations, it doesn't give us the excuse to do bad things. But let's continue. In our prior videos on Amberlynn, we covered a lot of the dramas involving herself, her exes, and others, including the lies and the weight loss stuff. We also touched on the animal abuse and SA allegations against her from Casey. Side note, SA and R-word allegations are not tea, and neither is animal abuse. But since then, Amberlynn has stayed busy with the controversies, and we have some additional things to report. But before we get into the really recent stuff, I wanted to cover the situation between Amberlynn and Casey a little bit more. Amberlynn met Casey online in 2008. Casey is a trans male, but at the time of meeting Amberlynn was known as Cassidy. Amberlynn and Casey were in a relationship until about 2011, living with each other during that time. Casey was 14 to 15 when he met Amberlynn, who was 18 to 19 at the time, and was in California visiting his grandmother at the time of their first meeting each other. This was when Amberlynn was living with her grandmother, and eventually her grandmother didn't want her there anymore, so Amberlynn then moved to Tucson and moved in with Casey and his mother. This was when she attended college, but she didn't finish, so quick trigger warning here. The remainder of this brief segment of this video will continue to talk of SA and R-word allegations, so just a heads up. In September of 2016, Amberlynn uploaded a video titled, "In an Abusive Relationship, I Was R-worded." During this video, which is now deleted but can be found on Exposing ALR's channel, Amberlynn begins by describing that she was raised around an abusive relationship between her father and her mother, and that on occasion, even knives and broken bones were involved. The reason that she dives into some of her history with these types of relationships is because she explains that someone has said to her that only lazy women stay in abusive relationships and that they actually want the abuse. That's disgusting, but that's just what she says in the video. But anyway, she continues to describe her first serious live-in relationship and that it was with Casey. Amberlynn says that she thinks it's fine to talk about this person and use their name because they are transgender and quote, Cassidy is no longer. She does say that she won't mention the new name though. Amberlynn continues to explain how she wound up moving in with Casey and his mother, and it was due to having visited Casey in Arizona for a month, and her grandmother saying she was no longer welcome to come back. Amberlynn says that Casey's mother was pissed because she realized that Amberlynn was going to have to move in as she had nowhere else to go and no job. The story continues with Amberlynn describing the first time there was some physical abuse and she never thought that it would continue into being a normal thing. She also explains that about 3 years into the relationship, she lost the physical attraction to Casey but still loved her very much. Due to the loss in that physical attraction, she says that the intimacy faded as well. Amberlynn would often make up stories to avoid being intimate with Casey, and she says that this turned into violence and being punched and forced into acts, and often then violence didn't just stop at denial of intimacy but spilled into things like not doing the dishes. This is around the time that Amberlynn met Crystal. She says that things got really bad with Casey. Even at one point the mother got involved and Amberlynn eventually realized that she had to leave. She says towards the end of this deleted video that she talks to Casey from time to time on Facebook and that he's very regretful about what happened in their relationship. Well, Casey posted a response video. Casey dives right into the situation and says that in regards to messaging on Facebook, Amberlynn had added him and they tried to somewhat be friends, but that ended up not working out so well once Amber tried adding Casey's mom and family members. Casey says that he was initially confused as to why Amberlynn would have made a video about him, as at that time they had been separated for 6 years and Casey had moved on, being engaged. His fiance was the one to share the video link with him, and he says that he cannot stay quiet on this matter because he's being accused of being an abuser, and it's not true. Casey continues and describes that the timeline in Amberlynn's video is mainly correct, and that while he didn't hear the conversation with Amber and her grandmother, he understood that she was no longer allowed to return home and live there. She was only meant to stay with Casey and her mother for a month. Casey says that of course his mother was angry because Casey was only 16 and they didn't have a lot of money and the apartment was very, very small. He says that he fought for Amber to stay there, and while he didn't regret that, as he didn't want Amber to end up homeless, he does in fact regret the rest of the relationship. Casey basically says that the rest of Amber's story is just simply false and that the physical stuff started with Amber, but Casey didn't think much of it as it was very mild. Casey says that he was the one who was abused and that the R-word allegation just did not happen. He details that he would go to school with bruises and cuts and marks that his friends would question him about until they put the pieces together. Casey says that Amberlynn would go through his phone and take people's numbers out to text them when he wasn't looking. He even says that there were indiscretions before Amberlynn met Crystal with another girl that was sent her money and gifts, and she was talking to Crystal for about a year before Casey and her even broke up. After Crystal and Amberlynn broke up, she apparently messaged Casey and was asking him what to do about Destiny and basically looking for advice. He was confused by this and didn't understand why she would even reach out in the first place, but she says that he was an important part of her life at one point. Casey says that the video Amberlynn posted about him was really, really hurtful and cut deep, and he simply just did not understand why she would do this. He says that he is messed up from that relationship with her and even did a stint in a mental health hospital because of it and still deals with some trauma to this day. He continues saying that Amberlynn just wants to be a victim, and while he understands that she grew up in a foster care and had a hard childhood, she should try to basically grow through it and be better than that and not post lies for views. Have you guys seen these videos? It's technically culty, but I think it's important to mention these backstories, and you know I love to see the discussion in the comment section, so let's talk down there about this. But let's move on and talk about some alleged money-making schemes from Amber. This will not be the first that we will mention today in ways of some jewelry-themed possible scams coming from Amberlynn, but for a time, she was trying to make some money by selling earrings on Depop that she claimed were quote-unquote never worn, it did not take long for people to realize that this was clearly a lie. Staying with that jewelry theme for a second, Amberlynn is also selling her engagement ring from ex-fiancée Becky. There has been some considerable back and forth on this, with Becky saying that the rings were worthless and that only subscribers of Amberlynn's wanted to buy them, which made Becky uncomfortable. Becky claims that she found out that these rings were worthless after trying to pawn them. Amberlynn has the rings listed for about $350. Continuing on her streak of attempted entrepreneurship, Amberlynn also hopped on the OnlyFans train and apparently left people high and dry with basically no content to be seen on that platform. She did a similar thing with Patreon, where she was charging about $70 for an old poem. And it doesn't stop there. Recently, Amberlynn has mentioned possibly getting into the sticker game. She posted to her Instagram story saying that she's been collecting stickers and did a poll asking how many people would be interested in purchasing them. A resounding no from her audience, with over 80% saying that they, in fact, would not buy these. Kurna Kaboom did a video recently covering some of this and shared some DMs that were posted to Reddit showing that someone responded to this poll asking if she was low on money, to which Amberlynn responded, no lol. As we know, Amberlynn started her YouTube career with the intentions of her channel being a weight loss journey. Well, that didn't exactly go to plan, and Amberlynn dabbled in and out of basically all the diets in the world, but continued to gain weight. This displeased a lot of Amberlynn's followers, as they subscribed and followed with the hopes of a positive and possibly inspirational journey, only to watch her gain and gain, which is arguably heartbreaking and concerning. Long story short, she kind of ended up just doing mukbangs and vlog type content. With the amount of hate that she collected over the years, whether it be from the terrible things that she allegedly did, or the lies, or the non-weight loss journey stuff, it is safe to say that Amberlynn's channel and financial status suffered. Well, in what can be presumed as an attempt to gain back some of that financial freedom, Amberlynn is now on Cameo, and much like other influencers and YouTubers, charges a fee for custom birthday messages. Now, apparently these cameos are terrible quality and just all around trash. It seems like there's a clear theme with Amberlynn as she takes on new projects half-heartedly and just drops them with little to no effort. And this can be said for almost everything that she gets involved with. The last video we did talking about Amberlynn, we mentioned that she was diagnosed with uterine cancer and was meant to be going through a surgery, but due to her size, standard scans and procedures would not be possible for her. It seems that since then, she's posting relatively consistently on her channel, but is still doing mukbangs and story times. She was supposed to lose weight before the surgery, but it seems that that wasn't something that she was able to accomplish. As for any progression with the lying, nope. Her most recent video that clickbaits the FBI calling her and the story that she tells was very quickly debunked, or at least heavily questioned, as she claims that the FBI did not know where she lives and left a message with her ex's sister instead. I think it goes without saying that if the FBI wants to get in touch with you, they will. Between the bogus jewelry and lack of content on paid platforms and lying and so on and so forth, it seems safe to say that Amberlynn has not changed much since we last covered her on the channel. There may be a Q&A video coming from her soon, seeing as she posted to her Instagram story, "Ask me anything," but I don't know, who knows. But you can trust that the Hot Tea team will be there to report the juicy details as soon as they are out. But that is going to be it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any hot tea, as we do post new videos every single day. And let's share some eye bleach together and hopefully move on to enjoy the rest of our days.